Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. How are we, good people? Yes. Whitehall, biggest apartments, Stonewall diversity. I love it when Stonewall get it up. I do. I can't tell you why. But I do, he says, being all coy, you know why. Yes, every time that Stonewall gets a stuffing, Barry smiles. Now, come and join the Warrior Teachers, starting in February. It is February, for God's sake. 5 days to go, whatever it is, 4 days. So, the Home Office, let's go. The Home Office and Treasury were among hundreds of public institutions paying into the scheme, but dropped out over concerns about the lobby group's influence. More than 15 ministerial departments, including the Treasury, confirmed they were no longer part of the Stonewall scheme. Every major government department has left the diversity scheme run by the charity Stonewall after a string of controversies over gender ideology. The Times has learnt. The exodus from Stonewall's Diversity Championship Programme, the DCP, came after concerns about the level of influence the lobby group had on shaping Whitehall's internal policies. Some of the biggest government departments, including the Home Office and Treasury, were among hundreds of public institutions and private companies who paid into the scheme. Stonewall described it as the gold standard for LGBTQ plus inclusion. I'm now at the point where I just get angry at the very mention of these swine. And I just think it's time we stopped all this. I mean, it's great because the government's learnt nothing from Trump, mind. Well, there he is. Off he goes with a trumpety Trump. Right, EDI, you're dead. We've learned nothing from it. The work of Christopher Rufo, how they've exposed the rot within organisations, be that government departments or large corporations who are embracing this hideous belief system. And I'm just at the point now where every time I hear the word, I want to vomit. Stonewall. Are you the same? Are you sick of Stonewall? Why aren't they closed? Some of the biggest... They promote gender identity over biological sex and was accused of favouring trans rights at the expense of women's rights. There's no such thing as trans rights. Even the newspapers need to start getting this right. More than 15 ministerial departments, they contacted by the Times. So the Times has gone to the trouble of ringing these departments and saying, here, what department are you? DEFRA. Right, okay. Are you still in this boondoggle with Stonewall? No, we've sussed it. We've left. But that's not what they said. In our ongoing attempts to keep LGBTQ plus people happy in the Home Office, we bent over backwards so that we could be further shafted, if not by Stonewall, by somebody else. In essence, all we've done is alter our shafting partner. We recommend you do the same. Call shafting 511. It's just insane. It's just insane. There are still big business. Universities are the worst for this. They're like, gobble, gobble. That's the universities. Absolutely outrageous. Last week, Eleanor Francis, go Eleanor, a civil servant who raised concerns about the promotion of transgender ideology, won a significant settlement. I covered this previously. Go on, Francis, give him a kicking. Go on, Eleanor, I should say. Eleanor, give him a kicking. She got a significant settlement. It was over 100,000, I think, if I remember rightly, after claiming the civil service's approach to those issues in the single-sex basis were unlawful. Francis warned that despite the civil service's commitment to impartiality, transgender ideology had become entrenched to the extent that it did not feel possible to express gender-critical beliefs, even though it was a view worthy of respect. Now, Eleanor won her case, right? But, as she says here, leaving these schemes is not enough to undo their lasting influence. The problem you've got here is that when these cases get to a certain point, and the government, for example, in this particular case, the civil service back off and go, okay, we screwed up, here's 116 grand, is that they then get to go, it's not our fault, or it's, without prejudice. We need a case that gets them to the Supreme Court and gets them absolutely screwed upside down and backwards. That's what we need. So that we can get a definitive ruling on ending membership to anything like Stonewall, which exerts political influence through a kind of economic blackmail, economic and social and cultural blackmail. That's what they do. So it says, continues, the case has promoted fresh scrutiny of inclusion and diversity policies within Whitehall. There shouldn't be any. You don't need it. There shouldn't be any. Workplaces that signed up as diversity champions got free submission to Stonewall's Workplace Equality Index, said to be a benchmark of progress on equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans staff. Let's make this absolutely clear. Stonewall and the LGBTQ+ are nothing to do with gays or lesbians. They are purely about the LGBTQ+, which is a hard left neoliberal cult. Call it what it is. Right, I'm fed up with it now. Oh, we all worship the trans god. Here's the god of gender. Yes, give us your children. We have the drugs. We have the knowledge. It's medieval. Medieval. But the problem is, you see, that the concern was that Stonewall was encouraging policies that critics warned had a negative impact, allowing males who self-identify as women access to women-only spaces. In 2022, ministers were told to withdraw their departments after a campaign by Liz Truss, then the Women's Equality Minister, to end their use of this particular boondoggle and replace it with an internal assessment. You don't need an internal assessment. Do your job. Sick of this crap now. The Ministry of Defence and Foreign Office confirmed they let membership expire. And DCMS, Francis's former employer, left in 2022. However, Francis warned, and Francis is right to warn, leave these schemes is not enough to undo their lasting influence. If organisations have incorporated biased or unlawful practices into their policies and strategies, they will continue until they are all actively halted. We then have word from our Maya Forstata, Chief Executive of the charity Sex Master, said it's fantastic news that the majority of government departments have stopped wasting public money on Stonewall's scheme, but it's just the first step. Gender identity ideology is now deeply entrenched in the UK civil service. Absolutely right. They deeply entrench themselves. They're like a tick, isn't it? It is a tick, is it? Well, you can't pull them out. You've got to burn them out. Because with a tick, if you pull a tick out, you leave its head in and it goes all infected. That's what's going to happen here if we're not careful. Stonewall or a tick. In every department it worked with, Stonewall's legacy is likely to be a raft of ideological policies, staff networks and programs. Even if Stonewall's consultants are no longer involved, activist staff networks continue their work across government, and many are funded by taxpayers to do this activism in their work and during working hours, as I mentioned the other day. To save governing departments from further employment tribunals, there needs to be a wide-ranging review of policies relating to sex and gender, and the complete removal of any that harms women's rights or encourage discrimination against employees who go against Stonewall dogma. Stonewall said that it was common for individual organisations and bodies to reassess their membership, blah, blah, bloody blah. It said it continued working with government departments and was proud to support hundreds of public bodies, arms lengths, blah, 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 blah. I just want them gone. It's about time they were shut. I want it all gone. EDI, DEI, off you pop, along with the LGBTQ and all your affinity groups and all the insanity and your gusset fumblers wandering around the workplace practicing their fetishes. Yep, it all needs to go. Every last bit. But that's just me because I'm a miserable old bleeder. You'll let me know what you think in the Dubris. Come be a warrior teacher. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.